functional integration. I am pleased to say that my treatment based on the work of both Selye and Feldenkrais has achieved some dramatic results in counteracting the aging process. Human beings, once they advance from crawling on all fours to walking on two, no longer need regress to a limping posture once they become older. That is to say, the bodily decrepitude presumed under the myth of aging is not inevitable. It is, by and large, both avoidable and reversible. I know this to be true because I have seen it occur thousands of times. Clients I have worked with during the past 12 years evince changes that are real and lasting. Years later, they happily confirm the fact. I confess that 20 years ago I would not have believed possible what I see taking place in my office every day. Even though clients, most of them 30 and older, have heard good things about my work, they first come to me with the same mix of hope and skepticism that I once had. But once we finish working together, they typically tell me, "I had no idea that this was really possible. Having had this problem for years, with nothing to help it, I decided I had to learn to live with it." Then they often add an intriguing remark. "You know, even though I didn't think this was possible, somehow I always thought that it should be possible." A similar thought was expressed by a group of physicians, osteopaths, chiropractors, and physical therapists from Australia to whom I had taught some of these procedures. "You have shown us what we thought we should learn during our training, but never did. It is the missing link in healthcare." One of the physicians attending my class was a distinguished cardiologist practicing in Sydney. In an article he later wrote about his reactions to the class, he said that what he had learned has as much potential for understanding the mind-body relationship as Einstein's theory of relativity had for physics. For 12 years now, I have been hearing such statements of confirmation, and I am convinced that everyone can avoid the loss of bodily function, which is the curse of growing older. We all know, and probably envy, some people who in their later years seem to have avoided the aging process. There is no reason for our bodies to suffer when most of our life is still before us. Many people in every generation continue to function actively right up until they die. This is a phenomenon gerontologists have finally recognized. They call it successful aging. We all know of examples. Some of the most famous people in every epoch have lived to an extended age, still working, thinking, and creating right up to the end. Even Sophocles, who gave us the riddle of the Sphinx, wrote his last play when he was 90. The fact is that, during the course of our lives, our sensory-motor systems continually respond to daily stresses and traumas with specific muscular reflexes. These reflexes, repeatedly triggered, create habitual muscular contractions which we cannot, voluntarily, relax. These muscular contractions have become so deeply involuntary and unconscious that, eventually, we no longer remember how to move about freely. The result is stiffness, soreness, and a restricted range of movement. This habituated state of forgetfulness is called sensory-motor amnesia, SMA. It is a memory loss of how certain muscle groups feel and how to control them. And, because this occurs within the central nervous system, we are not aware of it, yet it affects us to our very core. Our image of who we are, what we can experience, and what we can do is profoundly diminished by sensory-motor amnesia. And it is primarily this event, and its secondary effects, that we falsely think of as growing older. But sensory-motor amnesia has nothing whatsoever to do with age. It can, and does, occur anytime, from childhood onward.